Hey everyone, Vikingsguy here. I said weeks ago that before the season starts, I would take and break down every game that every team's going to play in the division. And this week we're going to do the Green Bay Packers. I hate them so much, but you know what? We can't just pretend they don't exist, maybe like the Bears, right? So here we go. Week one, they are in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. That's on NBC. That will be an L for the Packers to start the season. But they'll come home and play Indy, and they should be able to get a W at home against Indy. They're not very good. Week three, they go on the road at Tennessee. That'll be a loss. And then week four, they have the Vikings at home, and they'll lose to the Vikings as well. Not starting off so good for the Packers, 1-3. And then they move on. Week five, they will be at the Rams, 325 game. They will lose out in Los Angeles. And then in week six, they'll come home and play the Cardinals. They'll win that game because the Cardinals are equally ratty. Week seven, the Texans, they have them at home. That'll be a loss. And then on week eight, they'll play the Jaguars in Jacksonville, and that'll be a win. I mean, Jacksonville's an irrelevant team. It's a warm weather game. Packers should win that. Could they lose it? Yeah, because they're just not very good. And Jordan Love will have been exposed by week eight. Week nine, they're at home against Detroit. That's a 325 game, and they will lose that to Detroit. Finally, week 10, Packers can take a breath, look back at their ratty schedule, and figure out that they are just not going to make the playoffs this year. But they got to keep playing the games because contractually with the NFL they must. Week 11, they finally get their first shot at the Bears. This is something that every year they look forward to because they're guaranteed wins. And once again, at Chicago, they'll get a win. Sorry, Bears fans, not sorry. Week 12, they'll be at home against San Fran. And here's a string of primetime games where the Packers will actually play all these primetime games, and two of these games will be at home. So they'll play San Fran at home. They'll lose that one, 325. Week 13, they'll lose to the Dolphins at home. That's a 7:20 Sunday night game. Week 14, they will be there against Detroit. That's a 7:15 Thursday game. They'll lose that one as well. And then they go to Seattle for a Sunday night game, 7:20 again, and they will lose at Seattle. So there are 4 losses in a row. But there's hope. Week 16, they'll have New Orleans at home. They'll win that game. That'll be a Monday night game against New Orleans. And then they go on the road to take on the Vikings week 17. That's a noon game, and they will lose to the Vikings. And week 18, they will once again be home to host the Bears, and they will beat the Bears. I know what you all are thinking. The pundits are predicting Green Bay to win the division this year. Well, that's great. They're all idiots. Doesn't matter what they think. Packers are going to finish 6-11. 2 of those wins will have come against the Bears. Congratulations, Packers. You beat your rival 2 more times. A couple things to note in this season. Jordan Love will be exposed as the terrible quarterback he is. And guess what? Joe Barry probably wasn't the problem with that Packers defense. It might have been the myriad of terrible draft picks that they spent on players who are overrated and overpaid. So that's the record prediction for the Packers this year, 6-11. No playoffs this year, Packers, but hope for the future, except there isn't because Jordan Love sucks, and this will be the first year of a long 3 more years of watching that thing get no interceptions and be completely mediocre. Skol Vikings.